Reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, chapter India Revisited, part 1. Srila Prabhupada visited the wealthy Delhi industrialist Mr. Daumya to discuss plans for printing some of his books in India. Mr. Daumya received him well, but gave only vague promises of help. Prabhupada also met with Hitsaram Sharma, Mr. Daumya's secretary, who worked closely with the Hanuman Prasad Boda of the popular religious publishing company Gita Press. Srila Prabhupada was already acquainted with all three gentlemen, since they had all donated towards his first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada wanted Gita Press to publish his Gita Upanishad and Srimad Bhagavatam. Hitsaram Sharma showed him a little illustrated Gita in Hindi poetry that he had recently published. But my Gita, my Bhagavatam, said Srila Prabhupada, appearing disgust, is the description of God. It is the description of Krishna. Mr. Sharma said he couldn't see how Gita Press could print Prabhupada's voluminous writings. Nevertheless, Prabhupada still considered privately printing Gita Upanishad with Mr. Sharma as his agent. On October 11, Prabhupada wrote to Brahmananda, "You must see your books printed. We have wasted much time in the matter of editing and finding out a suitable publisher. And when I was alone, there was 3 volumes published, but during the last 2 years, I could not publish a single volume more. It is a great defeat. If I had 1 or 2 sincere souls like you, and if we can make more publications, the now mission will be great success. I'm prepared to sit down underneath a tree with one sincere soul, and in such activity I shall be freed of all diseases. Yes.
How can we understand this wish of Srila Prabhupada that he never actually put in practice? Okay.
This wish?
That, you know, if I could simply sit down with one
yes. Yes. Like this.
What does it mean also? It doesn't say there what it means, does it? And just sit under a tree.
I am prepared to sit down underneath a tree with one sincere soul. And in such activities I shall be freed of all diseases, like this. Yes. But in fact, your duty to put this mission forward was more strong than this desire, like this. His desire to save the world was more stronger than this desire of be peaceful, like this. Devotees from America were regularly writing Swamiji, anxious to see him again in good health. But he didn't want to leave India. He explained, until he personally saw that the printing of his Gita Upanishad was underway. Printing Gita Upanishad and obtaining approval for permanent residence in the US were the two short-term goals we wished to achieve before returning. But he thought often of his return to America. Srila Prabhupada says, this is the letter to Brahmananda, continuing. As you are all feeling my separation, similarly, I am also anxious to return as soon as possible. I think I'm fit to go back to your country at present, and as scheduled previously. I'm sure by the end of October, I must be fit to return, but before this, there are many things to be done. I'm not yet assured of the permanent visa. The best thing will be that from which center an invitation should be sent, that my presence is urgently required. Presently, I am very much anxious to begin printing here if Macmillan Company does not take up the work. Please, therefore, let me know yes or no from Macmillan. If he is not serious, they immediately sent the manuscript finished or not to the following addresses: Pandit Hitsaram Sharma, Dalmia Enterprises, Senior House in New Delhi. After dispatching, let me know, and I shall do the needful. Indian friends who visited Prabhupada's room listened eagerly as he told them about America. The millions of cars and super highways and thousands of young people rejecting their father's wealth. But Prabhupada's visitors weren't fully able to understand his visit to America. Not that they were too simple to understand, or not just that they had never traveled in the West. Prabhupada's experience in America consisted of intimate spiritual relationships with his disciples. How could an outsider understand the dynamics of his temples and his disciples in the West? How could anyone except Prabhupada and his disciples understand these things? And then Prabhupada says, my mind is always with you. Practically your country is my home now. India is a foreign country for me. The reason is that my spiritual family is there, and my material relationships are in India. Therefore, factually, where my spiritual family exists, there is my home.
Should we consider this as a definite? Should we consider this Western world micro as a definitive word, or what?
I think that because in India he didn't get sincere disciples, but in America he got. And then he filled this relation with his sincere disciples in America. And then he feels at home. Srila Prabhupada's vision of a worldwide society of devotees preaching in temples and publishing books, a vision he had had even before he had gone to America, was now become manifest. But it was dependent on him. In his absence, his disciples were sustained only by carrying out his orders and receiving his letters. When Dayananda in Nandarani had gone from the San Francisco temple to start a temple in Los Angeles, it had been Swamiji's instructions that had sustained and guided them. Where there is a new branch of our Society for Krishna Consciousness, I become very, very happy, Srila Prabhupada says. And my blessings in heart and soul are with you. On receipt of Swamiji's letter, they knew they have done the right thing. No matter that husband and wife sometimes quarreled and that there wasn't enough money, the main thing was that Swamiji was pleased. From Boston, Satsvarupa wrote that he and the other devotees, they were moving from an apartment to a rented storefront near Boston University. The first time Satsvarupa entered the new storefront, he found on the floor an aerogram from Swamiji dated October 6 from Delhi. And then what this aerogram says from Srila Prabhupada. I can understand that you have secured a very nice place in Boston. And there is a very good possibility of pushing our movement amongst the student community there. Our movement is certainly very much appealing to the younger sections of your country. And if we are successful in the matter of attracting the student community in your country, certainly this movement will scatter all over the world and fulfill the foretelling of Lord Chaitanya, that in every village and in every town of the world, the Lord will be famous for his glorious Sankirtana movement. Please try for this with your heart and soul, and your life will be a successful mission. To receive a letter like this, which from Prabhupada, is very strong, isn't it? Like this. The letter was as good as Swamiji coming personally to open the storefront and begin to preaching. It gave Satsvarupa full direction and inspiration. And it was personal. In that some letter Prabhupada had written. I am always aspiring. I'm always aspiring after returning to your care and overload you with the typewriting tasks. I hope we shall very soon meet again and help each other in the matter of discharging Krishna conscious engagements. I'm now 90% all right, and I think I can return safely. This typewriting work is done by me. For 2 years, for 2 days, I'm alone in doing everything myself as experiment. This proves that I am now well. Please offer my blessings to all the boys and girls there. In New Mexico, Subal was trying to arrange public speaking engagements for Prabhupada's return. And Prabhupada was encouraging him. If you think I can be on television by the first week in December, then you can arrange for it, because I must be in your country by the middle of November. Srila Prabhupada wrote to Janardana in Montreal, answering his philosophical doubts and encouraging him to be patient with his spiritually reluctant wife. And to Raya Ram, who was editing Back to Godhead magazine in New York, he gave another kind of thoughtful assurance. Prabhupada says, I am very happy that since BTG is entrusted to you, the things are improving. This means that Krishna is giving you more and more facilities. Krishna is such a nice boss that he gives more facilities and improvement to the sincere servant. On October 9, the day Prabhupada started from Calcutta, he left behind a different kind of letters for Sri Krishna Pandit. Prabhupada had been negotiating with Sri Krishna Pandit to purchase the Chitwada temple for ISKCON, or at least to rent the single room through a formal contract. Prabhupada wanted the room as a Delhi headquarters for printing his books. One day of his departure, however, Sri Krishna Pandit was unavailable, and Prabhupada left him a short handwritten note. Prabhupada wrote, if you are not settling anything with the room, then I may not come back to Delhi anymore. I will go to USA, directly from Calcutta, via the Pacific route, for which Sri Dalmia Seth, he named it, Sri Dalmia Seth, has already promised for the ticket. I said, I'm not going to Delhi anymore. And then this is the end of this chapter, India Revisited, Part 1. And then I can start a new chapter, Indian Revisit, Part 2.
Maharaj?
Yeah.
When Prabhupada, I think, Prabhupada wrote to Suba, I will come to your town, Mexico.
New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Is it in South America?
No, America.
New Mexico?
Yeah.
It's one state in the USA. Is what
Oh, okay. I wanted to take advantage to ask you maybe if you had some relationship, physical relationship with Sri Prabhupada in South America.
Oh,
I think we would like to ask
yes, what happens?
direct report.
I joined the movement in 1976, like this. And I got to initiation from Prabhupada by letter, like this. And then that time Prabhupada came to Mexico and then came to Caracas. And then he would come to Brazil from Caracas because we are doing very heavy book distribution there. I myself, I'm not great book distribution, but there's one devotee in Brazil. He got first place because that time there's a Sankirtana newsletter from Los Angeles every week with the countries, temples, and individuals, and then Maha books, medium books, small books, like this. by telegram. Every week comes to the temples. And then there's one devotee in Brazil, Advaya. He was very expert to distribute books. He was in first place many times. And myself, I was the old one amongst the young devotees. I joined the movement with, I had 31 years. I was the old devotee. Old devotee. Everybody has 20, 21, like this, like Paranga teaches here. It should be 10 years older than, younger than me, or more, like this. And I used to do Sankirtan book distribution with him because he would induce me like this. And then I got such good result. There's one week I got to the first place. And then what happens, Prabhupada in Caracas, he wants to come to Brazil, but he didn't got visa. Now the visa you have to get in your country, in India, like this. And he didn't come, like this. And then she got sick, he was not traveling anymore, like this. And in November 77, I was preparing to do marathon, and then on November 14, I got the news that Prabhupada had passed away. When I came back from the book distribution street. Anyway, and then my reaction was like, which was like this. Then I will offer this marathon to Srila Prabhupada. And then I worked hard like this. And that time Advaya was the first place because but I was second place like this. And then it was first time I came to India in 78, and Prabhupada just had left like this. Is my relationship with Prabhupada is too much into the book distribution like this. Otherwise, I could not have strength for doing that. You can read something more. Prabhupada's train, the Calcameio, pulled into Delhi station. Prabhupada and his two disciples had tickets with reserved seat numbers, but no car number. So while Prabhupada waited with the baggage, Achyutananda and Ramanuja ran from one end of the train to the other looking for their car. After they had found their seats and boarded, Achyutananda untied Prabhupada's bedding and spread it open on the upper tier. Prabhupada climbed the little ladder, sat comfortably on his cotton stuffed quilt, and opened his Sanskrit Srimad Bhagavatam, while Achyutananda and Ramanuja took their seats. It would take around 24 hours to reach Calcutta. Near the end of the journey, a group of educated Bengali gentlemen struck up a philosophical conversation with this Swami. "We do not worship any form," said one, speaking fluent English in a loud, deep voice. "We have a model Omkara that we worship, and we sit and pray to that." "That is also form," said Prabhupada. He was reluctant to attack the philosophical position directly. "We practice karma yoga," the gentleman went on, not heeding Prabhupada's previous point. "Because in karma yoga you can stay within your position. But karma yoga is not full surrender of the soul," said Prabhupada. "One must come to the stage of bhakti." "Oh no," the man protested. "Emotionalism is very harmful. Karma yoga." Srila Prabhupada exploded. "Karma yoga is for the fools." Silence. Another man with the Bengalis, but seated beside them, spoke up. "Obviously, Swamiji is a learned scholar," he said. "You shouldn't argue like that." The Bengali that Prabhupada had shouted had got up and moved to another seat. Later he came back. "Are you insulted?" Prabhupada asked him. No, he replied. "But I have never heard anyone say that about the teachings of the Gita." The Bengalis then talked with Achyutananda, lighting their cigarettes and smoking freely before him. Although they had not dared to do so before Prabhupada, it wasn't proper to smoke in front of sadhu. Bengalis, Achyutananda told them, citing one Prabhupada's examples, "We're very sorry that East Pakistan had been cut off from the rest of Bengal. But Krishna consciousness could elevate people to international, universal consciousness. Then there wouldn't be any such division." The Bengalis appreciated Achyutananda's remark, though they continued to blow smoke in his face as the train rattled over the last miles to Calcutta. Prabhupada was greeted at Calcutta's Howrah station by relatives, mostly from his sister's family, and by devotees of the Goswami Math. About 50 people were on hand. They offered Prabhupada flower garlands and sandalwood paste, and then escorted him and his disciple into a car. Achyutananda Ramanuja notes that although Swamiji's sister was shorter and more rotund than Prabhupada, her facial features were strikingly similar. Her name was Bhavatarini, but Prabhupada told them to call her Pissima, aunt. As Srila Prabhupada rode through the streets, he saw many images of Goddess Kali, 10 armored, riding a lion. Calcutta was observing the biggest religious celebration in Bengal, Kali Puja, a month of festivities in honor of the goddess Kali. Throughout the city, brass bands and radio music blared. And there were decorative lights, stages, and tents. When Prabhupada arrives at Pissima's house in South Calcutta, his relatives sit him and perform an arati ceremony in his honor, reverently offering him the traditional items, incense, a flaming lamp, flowers. They also bathed his feet. He sat smiling within the crowded room of relatives who were proud of his having journeyed to America on behalf of Lord Krishna. As Prabhupada's family members sang Hare Krishna Kirtana from outside the room, the ladies of the house began singing a high, shrill, whooping sound. Achyuta and Ramanuja were startled. Sima had prepared a large feast, much of it cooked in mustard seed oil for the homecoming celebration. And Prabhupada satisfied her by honoring the prasadam, even though he wasn't feeling well and was tired from the train ride. Soon after the festivities, Prabhupada and his disciples retired. Again his health wavered, this time because of his sister's heavy cooking. And he felt a strain on his heart. He sent for an Ayurvedic doctor who taught Achyutananda how to do a very gentle massage to help circulation and restricted Prabhupada from sweets. Like this. Okay, I think it is a point of we can stop here.
The last point is about mustard oil cooking. And it's really tasty.
Oh yeah.
And Prabhupada went back to it a few times.
What do you think? Adirama?
Mr. Law, Prabhupada said oil is for outside, ghee is for inside. Oil is for outside the body, ghee is for inside the body.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
In the early 70s, mustard seeds were banned from ISKCON.
Yeah.
Nobody could use them.
No.
If you saw mustard seeds in the kitchen, you threw them in the bin.
Yeah.
It changed, and the reason Prabhupada established that was because the Gurus didn't know how to use mustard seeds.
Yeah.
They miscooked them and it was undigestible. There's a way of cooking mustard seeds in a way that is, if it's not too much that is, which is more digestible.
Yeah.
But that's an art which Jamuna Devi mastered. Jamuna Devi mastered that art of cooking mustard seeds properly. And you'll see in her Bible, a cooking book Bible, mustard seed, mustard oil is quite frequently mentioned in preparations. There's certain preparations which are common in Bengal, of course, require. There's certain fried preparations where mustard oil is a must. But if it was know how to use it properly and not in excess, then it's. But here we see that basically everything's cooked in mustard oil in this pastime here.
Yeah.
And that was when you're sick, it can be very heavy, very heavy, very heaty. Mustard oil can be very heaty. It is heaty when you massage with mustard oil. Also, it's very heaty. So generally, mustard oil was for the skin and not for cooking, at least in the greater ISKCON in those days. And I think it still is more or less. In Bengal, of course, it's like in the West, they've always used all kinds of alternatives to ghee for cooking for various reasons. Ghee is the ideal. If you're sick, be careful of mustard oil. And Prabhupada was sick. They were brought up with mustard oil.
I read something more. As Prabhupada recorded, he began regularly lecturing in his room during the evening. Although he spoke in English for his disciples, the room would soon fill to capacity with relatives and friends. There were generally disturbances from outside to the noises of Kali Puja. Nearby Pisima's house was a large tent, a center of evening street parties, which included sweets counter, fireworks, an excessively loud public address system that incongruously blared Julie Andrews singing songs from the sound of music.
That was in Calcutta, huh?
On evening, as Prabhupada spoke, my only qualification is that I have unflinchingly faith in my spiritual master. A large firecracker exploded right outside the door. The audience smiled tolerantly. Yes, Prabhupada said. Take the explosion as confirmation of his words. It was glorious. One night Prabhupada explained that according to Bhagavad Gita, demigods worshippers are less intelligent. People worship Kali for material rewards, he said. But since all material things are temporary, such worship is inferior to the worship to Krishna. Kali is not able to grant the worshipper liberation from birth and death. Which is better? Achyutananda asked. The worship of the Christians and Jews, which is mostly impersonal, or the worship of the non-absolute by the worshippers of Kali? Worship of Kali is better, Prabhupada said, because the worshippers are in the Vedic system. They are more likely to bow down to Radha Krishna or Shanti Hare Krishna than a Christian or Jew. There is a chance that they will become Krishna devotees in the future if they lose their material attachment.
say also that there are many so-called Kali worshippers who are just not following anything, just drinking and eating meat, but maybe worshipping Kali is, according to the rules, is quite a procedure. No?
Yeah. It should have some sincere worshippers of Kali also, not ordinary people like this.
Prabhupada's definition there of they're better is because they're more likely to bow down to Radha and Krishna.
Yes, yes.
And whatever they think is another thing. Whatever they do is another thing, but they're more likely to bow down. So he says, well, that's what it says here. Or more likely to chant Hare Krishna. More likely doesn't mean they will, doesn't mean that Krishna won't. It says more likely. There's a chance. It didn't seem to be defined by their behavior, but by their, let's say, their inclination to pay respects. Their inclination to pay respects to Radha and Krishna. Even though they may be sinful in their behavior, or not following the traditional worship of Kali.
Yes, in fact, in Bengal, there's the most important temple of Kali of India, very famous, on the bank of Ganges.
Calcutta. The chicken temple, isn't it? Slaughter all kinds of animals there.
Yes.
Not for worshipping Kali, not for selling. Slaughtered by Brahmins, they have a shop there. Pure, slaughtered by Brahmins.
In fact, it means that Christian and Jews are more impersonalists than Kali worshippers.
Yeah.
Indirectly, that's what is underlying.
Yeah. The exactum personality is superior to them. The worshippers of demigods, at least they accept human authority, personal. It's not an impersonal God.
At least also in India the presentation of Christianity at this time was quite distorted. The intellectual Indians, Bengalis, Bhadralok, they would turn to Christianity as a reaction toward the personalism. They wanted to get rid of deities and everything like that. So that presentation of Christianity was, impersonal side of it. Doesn't mean necessarily that by itself Christianity is impersonal.
Well, Prabhupada never said that. That was a Chutananda who said that. Chutananda said the worship of Christians and Jews, which is mostly impersonal. Prabhupada didn't quote that. They often had deities too. It's quite a common thing that they do in Christianity, Catholics at least, they have kind of deities. In order to entice people over, sometimes it will be a kind of a temptation.
Prabhupada regularly invited his god brothers and their disciples to join him in America. Sometimes he seemed to do it just to get them at least to think more of preaching. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had once chided that the Gaudiya Mat ashram was no more than a joint mess. The members going out each day and collect enough alms so that they could eat together, but with no dynamic vision of preaching. So Prabhupada's frequent invitations. You should go to America. Come back with me. Would stir them, even if they couldn't actually come. On visiting the ashram of Bhakti Saranga Goswami, Prabhupada saw that the audience consisted almost entirely of old widows. But he spoke as usual.
We went this year to the Bag Bazaar temple in Calcutta, the marble temple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And I'd been there a long, long time ago, but we went this year and spent some time there. There's practically nobody there. A couple of old devotees sat in the middle of the hall saying, nobody received us, nobody showed us anything. We were there for maybe an hour. Just as we were about to leave, a little vehicle drove in with 4 or 5 brahmacharis, maybe one sannyasi, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I don't know, in the evening. They jumped out of the vehicle and kind of ran to their rooms. One of them stayed back and said, "Have you seen the museum?" I said, "No." I said, "Come." "Oh, it's sorry, it's locked. We can't see it." That was it. Nothing. Nothing going on. Completely. It was like in the back street. It was very, what do you say? I don't say disappointing in one sense, but lifeless. It was weird. And that was their main temple here in Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj.
Yeah.
Preaching mission, at least for 3 years.
Okay. One day Prabhupada's god brother Haridas Swami came by. He was heavy-set and loud, and he spoke very rapidly. "Very happy to see you come here from America. This is wonderful. Krishna is the summum bonum, the cause of all causes. I want you to come to my temple." When Haridas Maharaj went into a separate room, Prabhupada turned to Achyutananda. "He wants us to go to his temple, but to go there, I will have to go onto a rickshaw, and then onto a trunk car, and then onto a train, and then another rickshaw." Aware of Prabhupada's weak conditions, Achyutananda began shaking his head negatively. When Haridas Maharaj returned, Achyutananda said that Swamiji couldn't come to his mat. "Who are you?" Haridas Maharaj said angrily. "You are just a brahmachari. You should risk your life." Achyutananda replied, "I will risk my life, but I can't risk my spiritual master's life." Haridas Maharaj left insulted. "Don't worry," Prabhupada said. "He's just very talkative."
Talkative. Talks a lot.
Yes. Prabhupada paid a visit to B.P. Keshav Maharaj, the god brother who had awarded him the sannyasa order in 1959. Prabhupada sat on the floor and spoke in Bengali to his god brother, who was very old and apparently on his deathbed. Prabhupada had Achyutananda sing for Keshava Maharaj Keshava Maharaj requested Prabhupada to visit his ashram, Devananda Mat, in Navadvip. Srila Prabhupada had wanted to return to US and as a permanent resident, but his student in America hadn't been able to get the necessary clearance from the US Immigration Department. The devotees in Boston had gotten in touch with the Phil Harvard Indology professors, but had obtained no signed statements about Prabhupada's importance. All the ISKCON centers had written formal letters inviting A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami and had presented copies to the U.S. Immigration Office. But unless the devotees could produce something more impressive, like a government recommendation or a university's offer for him to join the faculty, Prabhupada could not become a U.S. resident. On October 13, Prabhupada wrote to his disciple in Montreal.
The day is October the 13th.
Yes. Interesting. I'm very anxious to go to Montreal. Therefore, you must try your best to get my immigration visa on the basis of my being an authorized Vaishnava minister, based on Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Rather than waiting indefinitely for permanent residence, Prabhupada decided to apply for a visitor visa. He went with Achyutananda to the U.S. consulate on Harrington Road. There, in the middle of Calcutta, they entered a small piece of America, with everything shiny, new and efficient, air conditioners, stainless steel water coolers, electric security doors, U.S. Marines and American flags. Sitting before the secretary of the consulate, Prabhupada looked small and rumbled. I want a visa to see my students in America. He said softly. Do you have any letters? The secretary asked. Achyutananda handed over the letters from the temples. The secretary revealed them and quickly gave Prabhupada a 4-month visa. While living in the building, Prabhupada remarked, I will just get anything, and then it can be extended. On October 19, Prabhupada wrote to Hayagriva regarding his imminent return. I am already preparing my return to USA. I have obtained visitor visa the day before yesterday. Most probably, I shall take the first chance to return USA upon my return from Navadvip. And on October 22, he wrote to Mapati, you will be glad to know that I have already secured a visitor visa to your country and have asked my travel agent to book my seat on the earliest possible date. I think I shall be in your midst by the middle of November. On October 24, Prabhupada traveled with Achyutananda and Ramanuja to Navadvip. Although the local trains took 4 hours, the lush lush Bengal countryside gradually revealed its heavenly beauty, and Prabhupada's health seemed to improve just from the pleasant journey. By the time he arrived to Navadvip, Achyutananda and Ramanuja were also feeling relief from the rigor of Calcutta. For the first time in weeks, they could open their eyes without blinking through drops of perspiration. A large Kirtana part of Brahmachari, mostly members of Keshava Maharaja Devananda Gaudiya Math, met Srila Prabhupada at Navadvipa train station. The Brahmacharis were meticulously neat, with their robes all dyed in the same shade of saffron, the Vaishnava Tilaka markings bold and distinct, the head smoothly shaved, and the sikas precise. They offered Prabhupada in his part aromatic garland made from flowers resembling lotuses, and gathered around Srila Prabhupada with worshipful enthusiasm. Also present were a few of Sridhar Maharaj's disciples waiting with rickshaws to take Prabhupada and his disciples to their guru's ashram. Although between the two groups there was an unspoken competition for Prabhupada's presence, he had previously agreed to go to Sridhar Maharaj's place. He promised the members of Devananda Math that he would visit them next. Okay, let's stop here. Jai, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki.
Is Maharaj giving lunch class?
Lunch classes. Maharaj will be giving lunch classes. On the schedule.
Oh, 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
We will be doing kirtan from 12, so devotees can also
Okay.
join.
No, I can give.
Thank you.
There will be visitors.